behind the scenes with future country rock blues kings and queens. Discover them first with Palm Mash TV. Palm Mash TV.
Well, hello there. It's Palm Mash TV time again. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a great interview again coming up, but before we get into that, don't forget about the subscribe button and bell buttons below you there. And anytime you click those, you'll always be notified of any new episodes coming your way. And the comment section is below there. Leave a comment if you like. And also, check out the description part and the closing credits at the end of this program, and you'll find contact info. So I hope you'll stay tuned for that. From London, Ontario, Canada today, we have Craig Jamieson, another awesome artist, I think you're going to agree. And we'll get to that in a second, but first here's another quick word from the Caden Gordon Show. So don't go away, we'll be right back right after this.
It is Caden from the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. Check out my show at thecadengordonshow.com.
Okay, we're back, and with us from London, Ontario, Canada today, we have Craig Jamieson with us. Thanks for joining us, Craig.
Yeah, happy to be here, Paul. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Well, tell us your journey about how you discovered music. I mean, I'm sure you always wanted to be in music since you were a little child. Maybe you fell into it much later. Everyone has their own story. Go ahead and tell us your story.
Yeah, for sure. I was born into it, I think, because my dad he's always been big into music. He came from England. They immigrated to Canada from England, and big Beatles fan, big Van Morrison fan, was in bands ever since he was 16 years old. So there was always, some classic rock playing through the house. And also he had a classic rock cover band, like 60s rock and roll kind of band that would emanate through the halls of our house when I was very young. It was called Midlife Crisis. They were guys in their 40s, so it's kind of funny. So I just was always around music. And when I was 4 years old, he bought me my first guitar and started teaching me a little bit. So I've had a guitar in my hand ever since then, and all through, I guess, my adolescence, I found music to be a great outlet for. Sorry, I got a little tickle in my throat. Just for teen angst and the woes of growing up and turning those negative things into positive outlets. I always wanted to be a songwriter ever since I could put paper to pen. I wrote my first song called Death at Dawn when I was like 11 years old, I think, which was about a guy on death row. I don't know where that concept came from. I can't recall. Maybe it was a movie or a story I heard or something like that, but kind of fascinated me about what would be going through the mind of somebody that was kind of in that situation. So I wrote a song about it. And actually, interesting enough, later in life, I actually wrote a short story around that premise too. Throughout my adolescence, I was very interested in the guitar. Around the 90s, when Nirvana was big, I became quite passionate about grunge music, and Kurt Cobain in general was somebody that I kind of idolized and wanted to be like ever since I saw the video "It Smells Like Teen Spirit." And that was when I really decided that I wanted to write songs and perform and be a rock star, I guess you could say. And then from there, it was in my bloodstream. I never really looked back from there. But I think the biggest thing for me is the songwriting aspect. There's something super cathartic about songwriting and telling stories in a musical way, and being able to take those experiences in life or those emotions or those challenges or those concerns or whatever it might be that's on your mind, and turn it into something cool like a song. Um, and then I think I've, started my first band when I was 15 years old. I was really into punk music by that time. And we started like a three-piece. It was called 789, which was my brother's clever name. He played the bass in it, and we had a drummer. And then, we started playing Battle of the Bands and shows and things like that, and performing. Um, and Actually, I was on another interview today, and I was telling the story. I think the first time I ever performed was I was at a beach, with some friends, and they always supported my music. I was playing songs for them and stuff like that, and they dared me. There was a guy there. He was entertaining the beach crowd. It was him and an electric guitar, and he had tracks going on, and anyway, and he was playing cover songs and stuff like that, entertaining the beach crowd. And my friends dared me to go up and ask him if I could play a song, right? And the guy actually facilitated the request. So if that guy, I don't know where that guy is now, but he almost was like, I guess the jumping off point to me performing in front of people and getting that feeling of what it's like to perform a song for people, because he obliged. And I went up and did one of my original songs called Everyday Stoner, which was super grungy Nirvana type sounding. It was well received. Like, didn't get booed off the stage or anything. Like, people clapped and cheered and stuff like that. And then from there it was just like, yeah, this is like something that like super energizes me. And from there I was always in bands. I was always performing. I was always writing songs, doing my thing. So yeah, that's my journey, I guess.
Okay. Well, that's quite a journey there. I'm glad that you're doing what you do. I'm sure you'll have many years ahead of you there. Um,
Hope so.
well, I noticed you mentioned Nirvana as a influence on you. Did you have a few others that were also influences?
I mean, there's always influences. I think growing up, big child of the 80s, like Michael Jackson, Weird Al, Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet, Alias, More Than Words, those types of bands. And it's funny, like, I don't try to sound 80s, but it always, like, you can't escape your influences, I guess. And a lot of times my music does, my vocals, my music, everything gets very compared to the 80s. The pop rock bands of the 80s, the new wave bands of the 80s, and things like that. I've even been told that I sound like George Michael, vocally, which I'll take it. George Michael's a phenomenal artist and vocalist. And I like that. Like, I've always been a huge fan of 80s music, and I've really enjoyed the resurgence of 80s music in the modern pop music culture, like bands like The Weeknd and Benson Boone's doing it now. And so I really relate to that. And that's something that I don't want to say that I did it kind of before those artists, but I've always kind of leaned on those 80s influences. And now it's fun because that's sort of relevant now, in today's music. And so I can lean into that a lot more. And it comes naturally to me as well. But I'm very influenced by what's cool, what's hip, what's modern, right? Like, those are the types of things that inspire me. Is I'm always like looking for what's kind of groundbreaking, what's the latest, greatest in pop music. And every Friday there's me on the new music playlist, right? Seeing what's new, what are my favorite artists doing, and getting inspired by that.
Yeah, no, those are some good ones. You even mentioned Weird Al. I mean, I was a big Weird Al fan. I still am.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, and all the other ones you mentioned, the great George Michael, I think you mentioned as well.
Yeah.
Um,
And I mean, there's definitely the classic rock influence. Like, I grew up on the Beatles and Van Morrison and guys like that, right? So yeah, just a plethora of influence. I love music.
mhm.
Um, there's just like, I have influences in every genre, and I tend to write in every genre too, depending on where the art takes me, right? I do a lot of kind of 80s rock synthwave stuff, but I also do folk. I do singer-songwriter. I do, pop rock, and I've even, you know, been doing some like crooner type stuff. Like I've got a new song that I'm going to be releasing at some point called Lips, which is a very kind of Michael Bublé-esque type of, and I released a Christmas song last year that was very kind of Michael Bublé-esque crooner style too. So I get energized by a lot of different types of music and love all kinds of music. So um, yeah, and I just kind of go where the art takes me, where the ideas take me, where the story takes me, right? So
Right. Yeah, exactly. Of course, we stand for all genres here as well. I mean, in all decades, whatever. So,
yeah,
let's see.
the
Uh,
only thing I haven't really done is like a big classical symphony.
yeah. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of the same way. I can take it in small doses, but that's about it. But
Yeah, yeah, well, I love classical music. I've never really.
uh,
I mean, I can even take elements of that in ballads and things like that, I think. But with building like symphony orchestras for bridge parts and things like that as well, right? But no, I've never
exactly.
written like a 14 instrument in symphony or anything like that, right? So,
All righty. Well, tell everybody how we can find more about you. I mean, I know you're on social media, but are you in streaming media? Do you have your own website? I mean, tell everybody about all that.
yeah, so I have a website. It's craigjamieson.ca.
Okay.
And I'm on YouTube, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. Um, just type in my name and you find me pretty much. I think there's one other artist named Craig Jamieson out there. So,
Hmm.
but I'm pretty easy to find. Um,
And you're on streaming sites too, like Apple Music, Amazon Music.
oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I release all my stuff through Universal Music Group through my label Big Records. So anywhere you can find music, I'm there.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, check him just about everywhere on streaming, social, and his official website, craigjameson.ca, I think you mentioned. And I know that you're going to love him and learn more about him that way too. And we're about ready to play the music video here. It's called Honey. I'm sure it's self-explanatory, but is there a story behind this song?
Yeah, the song is it's kind of an interesting one because I actually wrote the song to answer a music sync licensing brief. There's a company called Taxi A&R, and you become a member, and they offer you opportunities to try and get your music placed in movies and TV, and also to go out to A&R people for up and coming artists who are looking for new material and things like that. So I spent some time on there, like especially when I wasn't able to kind of tour and do as much. Before, especially during COVID and stuff like that, right? So, anyway, so we wrote, collaborator Brad Gray and I wrote this song to answer a brief for a song for a coming of age type of movie, like picture an American Pie or something like that. And the reference song they gave was Not the 1975 by Knox, which is a killer 80s pop rock type song. So yeah, we wrote this song as our submission to try and get this song placed in a movie. Unfortunately, it didn't get placed in the movie. They went with another artist. But when I was kind of relaunching my music career under my name and stuff like that, and signed to my label and working on what that new big release, the breakout release was going to be, I'd played this song for a bunch of people, and the feedback was really great. And I just thought like this is a great song to kind of release that sort of showcases who I am as an artist, who I am as a songwriter, and it's a fun kind of boppy song. So yeah, that's kind of the. It's funny, like any woman I talk to doesn't believe that it's not about somebody. Because the song is about unrequited love, essentially being friend zoned, and so that they don't believe that there's actually a true muse to it. And as I think about it more, in my adolescence and my teenage years, there was times where a woman kind of got the best of my emotions in that way. So I'm sure I leaned on that when I was writing the song, but it never really set out to be, the singer's a character in a story, essentially, right? This didn't actually happen to me at the time anyway. So that's the story.
All right. Well, it's a great song. You guys are really going to love it. And we're going to get to that in a second. But before we do, Craig, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. If you'd like to come back, if you'd like to come back and plug something new sometime, you're more than welcome.
Would love to. Yeah, no, appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Well, here it is, Honey by Craig Jamieson. It begins right now.
She's the kind of girl that makes you wish she wasn't pretty, 'cause then you'd be okay with being just friends. And she'll always show you a great time out in the city, but she doesn't have to go far before the lines close in. Yeah, she likes me. She's a real big tease, but she doesn't even know it. And I hate to see her leave, but I love to watch her go. Oh, what I wouldn't do to wake up by her side. If I hear we're just friends again, I might lose my mind. Oh, oh, yeah, she likes me. Type.